2026. We are going to be doing a masculine, feminine, non-binary energy update today, and we are going to be starting right now with the headspace of masculine. I've got the Smith-Waite Centennial deck here. Can I please get 3 cards to clarify? We've got 3 cards coming out now. 3 cards we are beginning with today are the High Priestess in its upright, the 7 of Wands in its reversal, as well as the World card. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing here energetically in relationality to this work. One of the things that we identify that's happening right now for a lot of the masculine energy is working into, I just keep on seeing there's a lot of this energy that is working upon the identification or the personification of, like, I keep on getting there's an active internalization that is effectively happening right now for masculine energy. And what's beautiful about that is, and I feel like this is what's really lovely, is I just keep on seeing this. And this is what we talk about in relationality to the ability to effectively recognize the significance and the importance of being able to energetically merge or to work into the space of merging or speaking towards feminine, because I just keep on getting that as masculine energy works to understand feminine better, right? And I want to describe this not even in the space by which it's a sense of the self, but they're coming into alignment with the characteristic of the energy within the self. They're recognizing and identifying what that point of energetic balance is. And I keep on getting that for a lot of that energy, building into that sense of proportionality, the gift that effectively is, particularly for the energy that is facilitating or doing this thing I keep on identifying there has to do with the understanding, right? Like, and I want to describe how heavy this type of work is. We've got Pluto in Aquarius during Aquarius season, and Pluto in Aquarius during Aquarius season can often feel like, I want to describe it as a space by which a lot of the shadow work can come up, right? That's the hard thing that we recognize, and I wanna describe this, like, we need to talk a little bit, and we often see this with, like, Aquarian cycles, and the thing I love about an Aquarian cycle is I like to describe it as, like, the universal, like, there's something I like to describe in a way, the unconscious is like the universal, like, junk drawer to a certain extent, right? Like, when we have those modalities by which we don't necessarily want to address something, right? It's a space by which we go, "I'll just put it back here." Right? "I'll just put it back here. It'll be fine. Nobody will, like, it won't be a big deal." But that's the thing about it, right? And this is what we often recognize. There's no there's no there's no non-processing. There's absolutely no non-processing in all of experience, because what happens, and in fact, right? In fact, when you put your shadow work into the unconscious, it's the worst place for it to be. Because what happens when when the shadow work's in the unconscious, right? You don't have energetic control of it, right? It shows up out of the blue, and it surprises you in the space by which you have to energetically address it. But this is why we do that important work to know ourselves, right? Because when we identify and recognize and we find that point of energetic balance, then we don't see anything within us that we're not ready to energetically address, right? It's the work that we do internally that allows us the ability to be able to navigate things externally. And so I feel like this is potentially, like, there's a lot of this work that I see that the masculine is working on, and I keep on seeing it's coming through. It's coming through in 2 different significant ways. The first part that I'm seeing in relationality to the shape or nature of that work is the identification of working through a situation or experience. Like I keep on getting it's the ability of saying that the ability to understand the self is the greatest gift that we bring to partnership. Because when we understand ourselves, we're able to communicate our needs, right? And that easement point, right? The work in terms of building into that context of simplicity is the identification point of allowing for the space by which we are able to see how easy it can be when we're facilitating upon that. So I just keep on getting that that's a lot of the energy of the masculine doing that work while also building into the space of deep energetic empathy in relationality to counterpart connection, right? And this is what's beautiful about it. This is why we never work towards disassociating, understanding that non attachment is not the same as disassociating. This is why disassociating is just stopping one's ability to feel things. And when you stop one's ability to feel things, you can't heal anything. How can you heal something that you cannot feel? It's impossible. But the ability by which one is able to express it, right? The ability to allow, and I keep on getting the proportionality by which we allow ourselves to feel our emotions articulates the space by which we feel that we don't feel overpowered by them. We feel empowered by them. So this is empowered emotional conversations, right? The ability of being able to articulate and amplify that full force of energetic intention. But it's not easy, is what I keep on seeing. There's something very important, relationality to proportionality. Now, this is bringing us to the feminine headspace. And for feminine headspace right now, we're going to be utilizing the Tarot del Fuego deck. Can I get 3 cards for feminine, please? We've got here the 6 of Cups in its upright. I like to see that. We also have here the Ace of Pentacles in its upright. And we also have the 6 of Swords in its upright. So what are we seeing in relationality? There's a lot of 6 energy that we're identifying in the headspace of feminine right now. And I like to describe 6 energy is working into the context of harmony, right? And here's the thing about finding harmony. When you're trying to build into like the space of identifying harmony, it's the work by which one is able to effectively articulate and navigate with the sense of proportionality, right? Harmony is effectively a balancing act. Right? It's working through the state or the space by which we feel that sense of finding that proportionality. And so I feel like for a lot of the feminine energy, working into the context by which they're able to identify and recognize healthy balance. This is, again, a lot of the same work that we see that is building into the state of being able to articulate and define I keep on hearing like the modality of identifying that emotions, right? Emotions don't necessarily fix things. But emotions, when we recognize that we hold our emotions, because in the communicating of the emotions, we're able to build into pathwork of discernment, right? And that's important because I keep on getting a very nuanced message that's coming through right now for feminine energy, which is the understanding, right? That when we're working towards understanding our emotions, as long as our emotions make sense, right? This is the key factor to it. It's not the space that all emotions mean this, like have the same meaning, because the emotions that make sense have directions connected to them. They are the logic based emotions. And our work, right? This is why emotional intelligence, this is what we mean by emotional intelligence. It's doing the work to navigate the emotions that feel worthy, right? the worthy emotions that have reason in order to communicate versus the emotions that we're processing through within. And so that's what I keep on seeing that a lot of the feminine energy is working through, the ability to articulate and communicate the processed emotions that allow for reason, not trying to fix things with the emotions, but applying discernment in relationality to how the emotional concerns are navigated, while simultaneously and similarly doing the work to navigate the emotions that often come up during Neptune and Saturn energy, moving into Aries, which is working through a lot of projections in relationality to how we are energetically perceived as we're working towards a state of balance. While for non-binary energy right now, and we're going to be utilizing the Aquarian tarot right now for the headspace of non-binary energy. Oh, you know what? We're going to have to pull these two cards. I'm not sure if you just saw what happened. I just went to reach for reach for the Aquarian tarot deck, and there were two Smith-Waite cards that just clung to the deck. So we're definitely gonna read these. Okay, this is some unaddressed stuff. Okay, so we've got those two cards there, and can I get one more, please, for the headspace of non-binary? Oh, two more cards for non-binary. There's a lot going on for non-binary right now. Correction, there are 4 cards. There are 4 cards for the headspace of non-binary energy right now, and 2 of them are Smith-Waite. Oh my gosh, and 2 of them are Aquarian. Can I get clarification? Yeah, we've got the King of Wands in its upright. We got the the Tower card in its reversal. Oh my goodness. The Death card in its reversal, and the Queen of Wands in its reversal. I can't make this stuff up. This is like classes in session kind of energy here. This is like, I gotta tell you, this is like the continuation on why, like, I just want to describe, I need to point out, and I just need to stress this right now. Okay, if you are a tarot nerd, then please look at today's spread, because if you see the 4 cards right now that are in the non-binary, like in the non-binary headspace, it's like it's somebody's got to do it. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is the hard part with this energy. It often feels like they're stuck doing the heavy lifting as it relates to, like, navigating, like, I keep on seeing, like, navigating and helping to find energetic equilibrium to things, you know? Like, I just gotta stress this here, and it's like, it's an even split. When I talk about it, like, a more non-binary I've never seen a more non-binary, like, reading right now in my life, and I'm just gonna show you these cards so you can see them, because I can't make this up. Alright, and I need to point out, these are the ones, right? These are the ones on the side of the masculine energy. What's on the side of the masculine energy, right? We got the King of Wands in its upright, and then we've got the Tower card in its reversal, right? And then we've got in the feminine space, we got the Death card in its reversal, and we've got the Queen of Wands in its reversal. So it's often working into, it's working into, like, it's like it's coming into a consciousness. It's like coming into consciousness. It's not fun, but somebody has to energetically do it, because it's working into the space of being able to recognize that, and I feel like this is what's happening for a lot of that energy. It's just recognizing that you will be doing everything in your energetic power to try to bring balance to things. And even in the modality of the space of work, and this is why we talk about finding balance is thankless stuff, right? And the reason by which we identify finding balance is thankless stuff, because it's the modality by which you just recognize or experience the modality of effectively trying to work through things. And even in the modality by which you're trying to reach energetic equilibrium, like, you have to understand the context by which you're navigating, like, you're navigating something ahead of the energetic curve. And even in the modality by which you're trying to navigate something energetically ahead of the curve, someone will articulate upon the fact that they don't necessarily understand what you're doing, right? And this is why it's like I feel like that, and this is what we talk about the gift of giving each other the energetic benefit of the doubt, right? Because it's the modality or the experience, right? The modality or the experience by which we energetically work through things. I keep on getting the same message that comes across. The modality or the experience by which we work through things is the observation of being able to recognize and understand that the only way that we can work most directly is by having the full span of information, is what I keep on getting. And I often feel like this is what I often feel is the frustration point in relationality to a lot of that energetic information, because I just keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, it's working into the context of what it means to feel energetically unified, right? And when I articulate that this energy, like that, this energy, right, builds into the space by which the space by which we anticipate is the space by which we can energetically prepare, and the modality by which we feel energetically prepared is the articulation. I keep on hearing prepared is cared. Prepared is cared. And why do I keep on hearing prepared is cared? Because prepared is cared is the amplification and articulation of being held in a point of energetic consideration, right? And so the modality by which I see that a lot of that energy works into the space by which they themselves try to facilitate, but also in the modality by which they work, I keep on hearing they work very conscientiously in that same way, is like I just keep on seeing that for a lot of that work, this is often the space by which the energy, right? I almost feel like this energy is in a constant way space of being able to energetically anticipate others' needs, but often feeling like I keep on hearing often feeling the frustration in relationality to that is often the energy that anticipates others' needs does not receive the same energetic force in kind. But I feel like that's what I mean in relationality to that energy kind of just coming into the modality by which they accept that as they continue to effectively try to do the best that they can, and recognizing the fact that they feel like they navigate a lot of projection in the process. Continuing to get clarification, moving back into the space of the masculine. We're going to be utilizing the Tarot del Fuego. 3 cards, please. 2, 3. We've got here the Justice card in its reversal, the Knight of Cups in its upright, and also the Four of Pentacles in its reversal. So what we're effectively identifying for a lot of that energy is I keep on seeing masculine energy right now is working into the space of and I feel like there's a lot of this work that we see in relationality to finding, like I feel like that balance point in relationality to building into um like an open heart space. And this is what I keep on seeing, like particularly with this Knight of Cups energy. Like the Knight of Cups energy that we see right now, that is sitting in the center of that spread. Like I just keep on seeing that is a lot of the energy that effectively amplifies or articulates upon like the space or power of being able to articulate upon the space by which one is able to communicate from one's own sense of I keep on getting like one's own sense of love is what I keep on seeing. And then I keep on getting like that experience by which we articulate upon the energy of the love that we feel. Like I almost feel like this is a lot of the energy that is getting better at being able to amplify or articulate how to communicate that love, because it's a continuation of the understanding on why it's so important, right? Why the ability to effectively work through, right? The ability to work through our shadow work is so energetically important, right? Because when we recognize when we recognize and identify um, our own energetic tendencies, then we are in the space by which we're able to effectively regulate through them, right? It's the ability by which we're able to articulate and define upon something in a way that feels, I keep wondering, like, in a way that feels energetically like our love is being shared by those around us. And so everything I keep on seeing with a lot of the masculine working through the heart space here is a continuation of the articulation of moving into a space of being able to amplify that feeling of energetic love. But I keep on seeing it's not just in the communication of the love, but they're doing the work to understand not only how they feel, but working into the reason that we identify that love is an act. And when we say an act, we mean an action, right? Love is an action, right? And I feel like that's what like I don't like the hard part is we shouldn't say the act of love because the act of love is the understanding of working through it's love is action is what I keep on seeing. And the reason that we articulate that love is action is because the amplification, right? If we don't heal from our trauma, right? What often happens when we feel a lot of love for someone and we haven't healed from our trauma, we often bring them back to it, right? Like, that's what's so hard about it. Like, this is why it's so important not to allow the trauma to inform the way that we love one another. Because all we do if we haven't healed our trauma is go back, right? We go back to the space by which we experience trauma. We go back to the modality by which we feel a lot of intensity of feelings. So, the modality by which we articulate that love is an action is the modality by which we apply, right? We not only feel the love that we feel, but we build into empathy in relationality to how that love is being expressed and felt by those that are energetically surrounding the self, right? It is the conscientiousness, and this is why we talk about the fact that you can't be in the space of saying like you hold someone in your heart if you're not doing that active effort in relationality to identifying what another person, like how another person experiences that love. Because that's the mutable work that we effectively do to recognize both what it is, right? The experiences that we're working to resolve within ourselves so that we don't bring that trauma out to those that we energetically care about. So I just keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy working through those modalities or experiences, like that is a lot of the energy that is being like working and I will say like that to a certain extent is the advantage point. Like that is a little bit if there is an advantage point to the fact that we've got Jupiter in Cancer right now in combination with Uranus in Taurus, right? It's the ability to recognize how we self-sabotage, right? It's the ability, and this is what we talk about. Like this is what we talk about with self-sabotaging, right? We don't talk about self-sabotaging by it's the modality by which we recognize that we're doing something in a trauma-informed fashion. And that even in the modality by which we work through that, I just keep on seeing that that is the energy that is building into a sense of energetic proportionality. And even as they build into that sense of proportionality, they're working on finding that better sense of balance, the balance within that allows for the balance without. Now, moving back into the heart space of feminine, we're going to be utilizing for the feminine heart space right now. We're going to be utilizing the Smith-Waite Centennial deck. Can I get 3 cards, please? 3 cards coming through. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Whoop. Oh, and I got another card coming through, so let me go get it because we had this is gonna be the vibe today. I went to draw the 3 cards for the feminine heart space, and then boom, right on the floor, we've got a Tarot del Fuego card that dropped out. And the card, I need to point out, is the Tower card in its reversal. Tower card in its reversal. So we've got the 3 of Cups in its upright. We've got the Death card in its upright. And we also have the Page of Swords in its upright. So what are we effectively seeing in the modality of those three cards? And it's interesting too, because and I need to stress, we've got the Death card right now, and the Tower card in its reversal over the Death card. And so what we effectively identify and recognize for a lot of that energy that we're effectively seeing there, this is a continuation of working into the context of what it means, like what the force of our own love can do. Because everything I keep on seeing right now for feminine energy, and again, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, is the observation or the understanding of being able to effectively recognize or identify. And I keep on hearing, like, this is what I keep on seeing in relationality to feminine, perpetually working on building into a healthy sense of energetic equilibrium. Why are we seeing a lot of that feminine energy working very hard on finding that healthy sense of energetic equilibrium? Because the modality or the experience by which we ourselves are able to effectively navigate or articulate, I keep on seeing it's working through, it's working through those energetic frustration points, right? It's working through those modalities or experiences by which we feel a lot of energetic volatility is what I keep on getting. And what's interesting about that is for a lot of the energy that's working through that, I just keep on seeing that this is the energy that are effectively continually and perpetually is working into the context. And this is what I want to stress about this. Do you notice how right now for the masculine, there's a lot of that work in terms of building into the context of empathy. While for the feminine, I keep on seeing that a lot of that feminine energy, this is building into the space of feeling very energetically grounded or centered in the context of the self, right? That modality by which we recognize or identify the shape of that work is effectively the energy by which we see that the energy works towards, right? And I keep on seeing, like, I keep on hearing the same message in the heart space of feminine. Peace is not found. Peace is made, right? Peace is not found. Peace is made, right? If you go looking for peace, you will never find peace, right? If you go looking for peace, if you go looking for peace, like it's very similar to perfection, right? If you go looking for peace, much like perfection, right? You good luck finding it. But when we work to embody, right? Like when we work to embody energetic peace, then we find peace within. And that is the peace that we're effectively able to articulate and amplify without, right? It is the work that we do that allows the calibration of building into healthy proportionality. And that's what I keep on getting in relationality to the energy working through things, right? It does so not only for themselves, but also for the sake of the energy that is surrounding the self. But it's not easy because and that's what I keep on getting in relationality to the energy of the feminine articulating upon the emotions. But even in the context of being able to articulate upon the emotions, they're being able to effectively ascertain or recognize what feels energetically proportional because I just keep on seeing that that is a lot of the energy that articulates upon those energetic modalities or feelings so that I keep on hearing, like, not only for the sake of being able to communicate for themselves, but they do so also for the sake of the energy that is surrounding the self. This brings us back towards a non-binary energy heart space right now. Can I please, we're going to utilize 3 cards for the heart space of non-binary, and we're going to be utilizing the Tarot del Fuego right now for the non-binary heart space. Can I get 3 cards, please? 3 cards. Oop, makes sense. We've got the 5 of Cups in its upright. We've got the Knight of Wands in its upright. There's so many like we've got like almost that we've almost got the full wand suite right now. And the Ace of Wands in its reversal. So there's a lot of this energy that we're seeing right now in the non-binary heart space. And I want to describe this as we see a profound amount of wands in this in this reading right now, and everything I keep on interpreting or seeing here has to do, right? um, you know, it's interesting because for a lot of the energy that is working through those modalities or experiences, I feel like there's almost like there's this energetic heaviness that often occurs in these experiences, and I think that it's beautiful because um, I I feel like this is energy that often feels like they're unseen. Right? Like, I keep on hearing it's almost like the modality that often articulates that it feels like they themselves like, the work that they do is often not one like, it's not the space by which one effectively, it's not the work that one effectively does for the sense of the self, right? It's understanding, like, I think that there's something really beautiful about this because I keep on hearing that, um when one knows what to do, one knows how to become effectively like, I keep on seeing, like, it's the ability of understanding what it means to be able to bring something together, right? And when you energetically bring things together, right? I keep on hearing like the energy that often tries to bring things together is working through the space by which it's not the amplification or articulation of something that you effectively like it's not something that you do in such a way by which you're often in the space by which you do it for the self. But I keep on seeing that for a lot of this energy, they have to work through this very I keep on hearing they have to work through a very painful paradox is what I keep on getting. And what is the painful paradox that we see that occurs there, right? In order to allow energetic change to occur, we must embody the change that we hope to see in the world. So even in the context by which we do that, I feel like this is energy that often works through the modality by which they often step up into things, right? They're often I keep wondering, they're often the first to effectively move through things. But even in the modality by which they are the first to move through things, others misperceive, right? Like misperceive their energetic bravery as selfishness, right? They misperceive that energetic bravery as selfishness. And that's the modality. Like I almost feel like that energy is constantly working through the modality of others' projections because it's often the modality by which the energy says, if you want to change things, you have to be ready to navigate rejection because the modality by which you're trying to do something in a way that hasn't been done before is often the space by which others get angry until they energetically understand something, right? Because it's an understanding of working through the pathwork of learning. And the thing about it is when like teachers, like being an energetic teacher is often in the modality of navigating being in a thankless position because it's the modality by which you're trying to articulate something and another person doesn't understand it and says, "What are you doing?" and saying, "Just allow me to energetically proceed." And then you feel like a lot of that vibration by which you experience the limitations of another person's understanding. So I feel like this is often the work, right? This is often the work that the energy feels in understanding that in order to stretch the fabric, right? In order to stretch the fabric of an expanded experience, you must often navigate the rejection that others feel in the context of trying to do so and another person misperceiving or misconceiving it. So I feel like for a lot of the energy doing that work, it's building into a healthy counterpart connection that effectively understands and recognizes the full force of intensity in relationality to the pressure that effectively occurs on on the energy or the individual that is effectively doing that work to a certain extent. So I just keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, that's what I meant. And remember how we did this reading? Remember how we did this reading the other day and I articulated that the energy that is very used to filling their own cup? This is what I mean in terms of the energy saying, "It's okay, I'm used to filling my own cup." They don't do things for energetic applause. They do it because they know that it is the right thing to do, and so that's what I keep on seeing, like, that's the moment, but, like, I feel like that's a lot of the energy that often just kind of moves through experiences in that way. Now, continuing to get clarification, we're going to be moving through into the unconscious of the masculine energy right now. And for our purposes, we are going to be utilizing the Aquarian Tarot spread for the unconscious of masculine. 3 cards, please. We've got here the 2 of Pentacles in its reversal, the 8 of Wands in its reversal, and the Hermit card in its upright. So this is effectively like these cards right here feel very much, it's a continuation on what we are energetically seeing in relationality to working through the context. I keep on hearing like working through the context of the inner child healing that we often identify and recognize um, in relationality to the work of the self. And everything I keep on seeing for a lot of that masculine energy is, and I want to keep on reaffirming it to those that are working through this, and bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. When we are working through the inner child healing, I'm just going to keep on repeating this. Inner child healing is not about the healing of what something that happened to you when you were a child. Okay. Inner child healing is working through the modality and experience of being able to effectively understand and recognize the work that we do towards the person that we were before we knew everything. The person that we were before we knew everything. Like, and again, and well, who thought they knew everything, right? And the modality by which we come into understanding of the self is often the modality, and this is what we talk about. Like, you cannot, right? You cannot hold oneself energetically accountable in the space that one does not understand something. But the modality that we come into, right? And this is what we talk about as we navigate maturation processes, right? The understanding of allowing oneself to be in the space of inner standing, right? If you are working on inner standing, it's often the context by which you often feel the modality of having to see the past version of self via the experience of the self, right? And it can feel very painful. It can feel very difficult. But I need to point out, if you're experiencing that, congratulations, right? That's wisdom, right? That is the pathwork of wisdom coming towards you. Don't feel energetically burdened if you're coming into the understanding of the self in the correlation of being able to go on an energetic journey. It's the modality or the experience by which we energetically understand things that allow the modality of being able to work through something in such a capacity that we're able to identify and recognize like the shape of that energetic work. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy facilitating upon that, it's not easy, right? But it's also building into the space of being able to feel energetically grounded and stable as they continue to articulate upon it. And so for a lot of the energy right now, I just keep on seeing it's like it's working, it's like it's almost working through to a certain extent, and even in the context of working through to a certain extent, it's like I feel like it's heavy and it's grounded, but it's also energetically reaffirming. While for feminine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, can I get 3 cards, please? 3 cards to clarify. We have here, we've got, hold on a moment. And we're going to be utilizing for the unconscious of feminine right now, the Aquarian Tarot. 3 cards, please. 1, 2, 3. We have here the 2 of Cups in its reversal, the Emperor card in its reversal, and we also have the 2 of Wands in its reversal. So what are we effectively seeing right now for a lot of that energy. Everything we are identifying here is, and I keep on getting for a lot of that energy doing that work, articulating and amplifying upon something in such a way. I keep on getting amplifying upon something in such a way that one is able to build into, like, I feel like there's a lot of this energy that often works towards the space or the desire of, like, the desire to be energetically held is what I keep on hearing, right? And why do I keep on hearing for a lot of the feminine, the observation in relationality to how one is held? Because it is the modality and the experience by which we recognize and identify um, the space and the proportionality by which we by which we recognize how and I feel like the like when I'm articulating upon this for a lot of the feminine, it's the modality by which we work through when we are in the context of holding others, we often feel like we ourselves are not being held, right? And so I feel like that's what a lot of the feminine is working on navigating or working through that experience, right? Because when we are energetically when we're working towards facilitating upon things, we often don't feel energetically held. But I keep on getting that for a lot of the feminine energy working through those experiences or circumstances, this is the energy that is building into, and this is what I mean. Like, this is what I mean for a lot of that energy that is working better at articulating upon their energetic needs, which is we cannot, right? One cannot articulate that one is not being energetically held unless one is able to articulate or state upon the needs that we're energetically feeling. So I keep on getting that for a lot of that energy working into, right? Working into the context of being able to articulate and describe what it means to feminine, to be held, right? What it means to be like held is what the feminine is getting better at doing, right? Not being in the space, like I keep wondering, like not looking, right? And this is what I keep on seeing, right? And this is what I mean for a lot of the feminine energy. It feels like there's two different things that feminine is working on right now. One, feminine is identifying that peace, right? Feminine is identifying that peace is never found. Peace is made, right? Like peace is what we do with non-peace, right? Peace is what we do with pieces. Like we find peace by like putting pieces. Like it's like, that's what I keep on saying. While also and simultaneously articulating that the responsibility of the self when one is not feeling energetically held is being able to effectively articulate or amplify what the act of holding feels like so that one is able to be in the space of having one's own needs met. So I just keep on seeing that that is a lot of the feminine that is effectively working through those modalities or experiences, and it's not easy, right? It's not easy. It's difficult. It's working through a lot of those, like I keep on hearing like this is often the feminine that was working through experiences that was trying to articulate that, and this is why, like if this is feminine trying to shed the trauma of feminine that was articulated, that feminine energy, like the that the modality of feminine is something that does not have any needs, then this is the feminine that's effectively healing in relationality to the feeling of the feminine. I keep on hearing feminine is not a non-entity, right? It's the modality by which and the modality by which the feminine articulates upon the needs that helps the feminine find the healthy relationship, because it's the space by which our emotions effectively act as our discernment system to articulate upon the needs that are energetically met that build into that stable energetic partnership. Now, this brings us to the non binary energy, and we're going to be utilizing for non binary energy right now. We've got we'll be utilizing, which deck are we using? We're gonna be utilizing we're actually gonna split it, like, we're gonna, like, well, I'm gonna be utilizing the Aquarian Tarot right now. Yeah, I'm gonna be utilizing the Aquarian Tarot for non-binary energy. 3 cards, please. 2, 3. Thank you. We've got here the Knight of Cups in its reversal. We've got the Page of Cups in its upright. And we've got the 3 of Wands in its reversal. So, what are we energetically seeing there? This is a lot of the energy that and I keep on getting this. I mean, the unconscious of the non-binary energy is just working through, like, it's just working through the modality or experience of, um how do I describe this best? Um, like, it's the energy, it's I feel like it's often the energy that, like, I keep on, like, it's interesting, I keep on seeing a lot of this energy that builds into the context of, and I need to describe, like, the full empathy of building into a state of bliss for a lot of this energy that I'm seeing here is the amplification of feeling the energetic joy in seeing others in a state of of bliss is what I keep on seeing. There's something really dynamic that I see that happens right now in the unconscious space, which is the identification point of finding energetic bliss in seeing energetic bliss surrounding the self, right? Like, I keep on hearing, what is the point of all this bliss if this bliss can't be energetically shared? Is what I keep on. Perfect. As the mic, I hope the mic's still working. As the mic, like, goes crashing down, right? Like, that as the mic goes crashing down. But that's what I effectively see right now, and that's what I keep on getting in a lot of that energy kind of working through something, because I almost see this energy, like, for a lot of that energy, when they articulate upon their bliss, right? They don't internalize the bliss, right? They articulate the experience outside of the self, right? They experience the a state, I keep on hearing, a state of bliss is something that you cultivate, right? That allows one to find it within. And I see that this energy, like, and this is what I keep on getting in relationality to the energy often doing things in a way that feels energetically, like, difficult, because I keep on getting that for a lot of that energy working into the space of trying to cultivate a state of bliss is often the modality by which, right? It's often the modality by which that bliss is effectively misinterpreted, or the modality by which others effectively see one, right? Like, and the energy being like, what are you doing? And someone being like, I'm operating in a state of bliss. And someone being like, wow, you're being really selfish, and being like, no, it's not selfish at all. It's working into the space of trying to create a better energetic experience. But often the only way that one can create a better energetic experience is in the modality by which you work to effectively energetically change something. So it's basically like, I keep on hearing, it's rough. It's like, it's rough out in that bliss state. It's rough on them bliss streets is what I keep on hearing. Because when you're trying to do that, right, often the modality by which others see you with a lot of consideration in terms of trying to do that for everyone, right? And often being energetically misinterpreted in the space of trying to change something, right? Like, that's what I keep on seeing, which is like the energy going, it's rough on those bliss streets, you know? It's like it's like be careful. It's like, it's just a work of understanding. You'll often be, right? You'll often be misperceived as you're doing everything possible to try to create a state of bliss for yourself and everybody energetically around you. But here's the thing about it. We don't, like, one doesn't do that, right? One doesn't do that the one doesn't do that for the self. Like, it's almost the energy that's kind of given up a long time ago for something being energetically appreciated in that way, is what I keep on seeing, right? So I feel like there's a lot of that energy that works through that. But even in the context by which they work through it, right, it builds into their own sense or their own state of recognizing, right? It's like the bliss that's given but rarely found kind of energy. But then I want to stress this to those that are experiencing that. You deserve it too, you know? You deserve it too. Make sure that you're working, make sure that you're giving yourself something back in that context as well. That's bottom of the deck right now on across these readings. For masculine right now, we're going to be utilizing the Aquarian Tarot. Actually, yeah, we've got here the Nine of Swords in its upright. And so, what are we seeing right now for a lot of that Nine of Swords energy? I feel like a lot of the masculine energy right now, and I keep on seeing this. It's a conversation in relationality to allowing one's emotions to get the better of the self is all I keep on seeing. Because and this is what we talk about in terms like and remember when I articulated that it's not just enough to follow one's emotions, right? But the modality by which we follow the emotions, and even in the context by which we follow the emotions, we allow for the energetic ability of like working through like the emotions. I just keep on getting the emotions that are amplified or articulated and shared are often the emotions that allow the context of being able to recognize and identify um, how we ourselves are working through. I keep on hearing like working through an energetic hurdle. And I want to describe this. Your emotions are not a burden, right? For masculine energy that's feeling this. But often I recognize that emotions feel burdensome, right? The ability, right? The ability to communicate through the emotions, allow for dreams to come true. It's as easy as that, right? The ability to articulate upon the emotions is literally the stuff that dreams are made of, right? Because a healthy manifestation goal is one that is energetically shared. And our ability to effectively communicate from the space of our emotions allow others the possibility of being able to meet us there, right? And so that determination point in being able to recognize or articulate upon these things, I just keep on seeing that that is a lot of the energy that speaks, right? That is a lot of the energy that speaks up like that's working through that. And I keep on seeing that for those that are experiencing that, it's a lot of that conversation that works towards the energetic calibration point. Right. It's a lot of the energy that often, and I feel like it's hard potentially if this is energy that it was working into, like, I feel like this is a lot of the masculine shedding some kind of false belief that one in order to facilitate becoming masculine, you had to get rid of those pesky feelings, right? That's not what stoicism means. Stoicism is the ability, is the ability to feel everything and still find oneself, right? To still find oneself centered in the midst of all of those emotions, right? It's the ability of feeling the energetic emotions of the storm of the self, and yet you find yourself still standing in the midst of it. So I just keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy of the masculine that is working, right? Like a working into the space of feeling those modalities by which they felt like we begin to heal in the space by which we allow our energetic emotions to effectively carry us away, right? So this is a lot of the energy that is working into that space of healthy centering. While for feminine energy right now, can I please get 3 cards for feminine? I mean, not 3 cards. We already did 3 cards. Bottom of the deck for feminine energy right now. Can I please get a bottom of the deck here? We are going to be utilizing the Smith-Waite Centennial deck. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups in its reversal. Knight of Cups in its reversal. And so this is, I feel like this is a lot of the feminine, and I need to describe this. This is a lot of the feminine that is working into, I keep wondering, this is a lot of the feminine that is working into the context of energetic, like I keep wondering, working into the context of energetic, like healing. And I keep on seeing the modality, and this is what I keep on getting in terms of a lot of that feminine energy. Feminine energy is moving away from the space of feeling like, I keep on hearing no more conversations from feminine to try to feel that communicating their feelings fixes things. Feelings are not for fixing things. Feelings are for discerning things, right? And that's often why I keep on seeing that this is a feminine letting go of that context, because I feel like this is feminine healing from past experiences, right? By which feminine was in modalities or experiences by which they felt, right? The sound of your feelings not being honored, right? The sound of your feelings not being honored is the modality by which you express them. And then you feel like you have to go into a lecture as to why they're important, right? Right, and the minute you come into, like, you should never be in the space of having to lecture another person as to why one's feelings are important, so long as, right? So long as the emotions that one is articulating have reasonable directions attached to them, right? That is the work that we do in preparing our emotions to be delivered, right? When we're working to prepare to have our emotions delivered, we look at the emotions and then we attach a direction to them and then we give them to another. And what happens when you prepare your emotions? When you prepare your emotions and you add a little direction to them, you give them to another, and it's a gift, right? Here's a gift. Look at this. I made you this. It's my emotions with a direction attached to them. This is what it is. I know it's a little weird. You might not have seen it before, but it's okay. I put the direction right next to it. Right? It's right there. Just make sure you read the direction on the emotions that I'm giving you, right? And so that ability of doing that, as long as we're doing that, right? The ability of another to recognize and amplify and understand the intrinsic value of an emotion with a healthy direction attached to it is literally the sound of being able to understand finding someone in an enlightened state. Because when you find someone in an enlightened state and you give someone the emotions with a direction attached to them, it's a space by which another person says, "Oh my goodness, like, thank you, thank you for making this as easy as possible. Thank you for helping." Right? We can skip all of that time. We can stop wasting. We can stop wasting all the time that we are in this experience trying to figure out what's going on in each other's heads and actually do something energetically productive, is what I keep on seeing. So that's a lot of the energy that's working into the space of understanding and utilizing that modality. And in the space by which they're doing that, just allowing the context, right? Healing from rejection. Because if you're giving someone the most amazing gift you can give someone in the whole world is an emotion with a healthy direction attached to it, right? The ability to effectively perceive how another person receives that tells you, right? It tells you all you need to know in relationality to where you feel held versus where you feel that you need to move away from, right? And it's not easy, right? We do the work and sometimes it's not perfect. Right. Sometimes there can be misunderstandings. Sometimes there can be difficulty. But that ability of being able to articulate and amplify, this is the energy, right? This is the energy that is both articulating upon that and also in the context of doing so is building into the state of getting, but first, right? But first we got to talk about it, right? We got to get over, like, here's the thing again, healthy relationship should not require counterpart to be mind reader, which is why we build into the space of being able to articulate what those needs are. While for a non-binary energy right now, bottom of the deck, we've got the Emperor card in its reversal. And I feel like with a lot of that energy, the Emperor card in its reversal is the Emperor card in its reversal is often working through. I just keep on hearing in the non binary energy space, a healthy manifestation is one that is mutually shared. A healthy manifestation is one that's mutually shared. But I think that it's just a recognition that there are uncaring people, right? There are uncaring people in this world. There are uncaring people in this world that build into the space. But when someone is uncaring, then it doesn't allow the context of trying to build a better world, but working into the context of feeling the vibration of just moving. Like, there's nothing worse than being in the modality of moving a manifestation goal forward just to see if one can, is what I keep on seeing, right? I want to describe like that. I mean, I feel like that's the level of trauma that I see a lot of non-binary energy recognizing. Like, that is the sound of cruelty, right? If you want to understand what the sound of cruelty is, the sound of cruelty is literally somebody having a manifestation goal that has no other purpose than to see the energetic result of the manifestation goal, right? It's the modality by which and the nature of another, right? And this is why this energy holds so much deep empathy when they see others navigating that space. The lack of feeling within, right? The lack of having a healthy manifestation that creates the void space within, by which one doesn't have a manifestation point beyond the space of just creating manifestations because one feels like the sense of trying to articulate or define what would occur. Given the fact that one does so, is literally the sound of someone like moving through an energetic cycle, because it's the identification point of recycling, right? It's recycling into the space that it doesn't go anywhere. It just creates like it's like it's not it's like the unhealthiest thing in any way, shape, or form, right? But when one is in a space like when and that's what's so difficult for some of that non-binary energy, feeling, right? Feeling the energetic pain, right? Having to navigate the energetic pain of seeing someone in a state of energetic cruelty, right? The void space by which another person has no manifestation goal, right? Not building into the context of operating from that state of bliss, right? Being able to recognize the beauty of being able to do something in a world by which all possibilities can become like this is the stuff that dreams are made of, like the space by which we can do anything, right? But instead, like the space by which we can do anything, but rather like the energy that works upon feeling the sense of something to do, right? Like, this is the energy that often works through the space of having navigated situations that are articulated upon that level of degree and cruelty, but not letting it change or inform their own energetic direction, right? Like, this is what we talk about when often, like, you have to have strong eyes to see a cruel world, because the modality or the experience by which not only do you see cruelty, but you feel the profound empathy for the person that must be in such a state by which they would effectively persist upon doing it, right? This is a lot of the energy that works through the modality by which they observe it, but they work very tenaciously in not letting it or allowing it to energetically change the nature of their own heart space. That is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective read. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, and I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates in relationality to a couple of updates in relationality to other things that are occurring right now. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone who has attended our recent class on the world card. Our next class will be held on Thursday, February 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the sword suite of the cord cards. And if you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. And you will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I do my best in giving you guys an update on everything we've experienced prior to beginning the next class, but the materials are there for you to receive as you're ready to receive them. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of readings, but you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. And you'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also would like to invite you to my stack to learn more about a very special retreat program that I'll be hosting this August 8th through 13th. I would like to invite you to join me in Italy, where we will be studying the tarot in the birthplace by which the tarot was first documented to be discovered. Everyone who attends that retreat will be receiving one-on-one classwork training with me, as well as receiving a complimentary mentorship class. And if you sign up this month, you will be able to access a $200 discount on that retreat program. You can find out more about that over in the tree that has links in it in my bio or over on my stack. I also want to let you guys know that over on my stack, you'll find my mystic meditation articles, which give you updates on everything we've been studying energetically in the cards. I just wrote one recently on this new moon that we experienced. Also, if you would like to participate, if you'd also, I'd like to invite you, if you'd like to take any, if you'd like to have personal readings with me, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. As I said, I take a very limited number of these students, as each individual is personally customized for that person's spiritual practices and journey. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or biweekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or biweekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy now to offer dream interpretation packages, which can be purchased per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or biweekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.